What is good? 1 2 1 2. I just wanted to talk real quick. I saw Tommy Lauren was trending on Twitter, and again, I've got to just jump in, do this, and get out. So I apologize if it feels rushed, but it's more efficient for me to do it this way instead of recording, even though I don't like the audio as well, and yada yada yada. But thanks for joining. If you're watching this, I appreciate it. Breaking Fox News: Tommy Lauren melts down over the idea of Joe Biden nominating the first black woman to the Supreme Court. Says, we saw how well that worked out with Kamala Harris and that she hopes he has a better choice in mind. This is the version or the viewpoint of Occupy Democrats, this shill operation. Retweet if you love seeing racist get triggered. So they're trying to brand Tommy's take as racist. I'm going to get into this a little bit deeper, but to me, it's obvious as to why. It's because there's truth to this. So what's the best way to counter truth nowadays? It's to call somebody a racist and move on. Brooklyn Dad, our favorite paid operative. I went from being annoyed by Brooklyn Dad to viewing him almost as a parody account, and I love following him now. He's hilarious. By condoning the racist rhetoric from um, Tommy Lauren, who complained that President Biden may nominate a black woman to SCOTUS, Fox News is proving that they don't have or want any black viewers. The quiet part is always out loud. He thinks that Fox News shouldn't have any black viewers for this. I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to let you know why. So we know they're playing political games, but the common people who believe this, and there's a lot of common people who believe people like Brooklyn Dad and Occupy Democrats, they want to have their cake. And these are identitarians. They look at the color of their skin. They say, I'm black, so I have to root for, or it's okay to say hire someone because they're black. Of course, that's only if they're black and agree with my leftist point of view. But what they want is they want to have their cake and eat it too. I'm going to end with that, but let me take a step back. What's going on here? It could be credible. Let me take another step. So there's going to be a battle right now, if you haven't heard, over Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer retiring. I heard from rumors online, Twitter reporters, that this news came out early. He wasn't ready for it to come out, but the Democrat Party's ready for it to come out. They got midterms coming up. And I am starting to believe, at least they think, it's not a foregone conclusion that they will be able to pull something out of their hat. It looks like we're going to see a red wave. Just a matter of, is it America first or is it establishment first? So Justice Stephen Breyer, the cat's out the bag. He's retiring. This was not surprising news, really, because they want to make sure they can choose their guy before potentially you see things flip in the midterms, and they might not get their person approved if he retired after that. So the rumor is, could be Kamala Harris. What's the exit plan? How do you get rid Kamala Harris, Joe Biden? They have never, in just my opinion, they have never liked Kamala Harris. I've done a couple videos on that. What's the exit plan? They don't like each other. They're really both helping to bring each other down instead of up. So what's the exit plan? The only exit plan you could have to get Kamala out, a supposed black woman, woman of color, is to give her a promotion to the Supreme Court. So I'm going to go back to Tomi here in a second. But Jen Psaki was asked about the possibility of the whole Kamala Harris thing. And she said, I'm not going to speak to any considerations, preparations, or lists. That's not a no. Psaki said Biden has every intention, as he said before, of running for re-election and running for re-election with Vice President Harris on the ticket as his partner. Has every intention. That means I'm intending to do that, but if there's another opportunity that comes up for her, then maybe I could get the guy I view almost like a son, Pete Buttigieg or whoever else. It would be awkward. They were asking, could Kamala Harris vote on her own nomination, because the Senate could split evenly, and we don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Here, so that's what's going on. So Tomi Lahren basically said, she did say she said the quiet part, in fact, in that I think most of the America is thinking this. They just are afraid to say it. Joe Biden hired, just this is an opinion, I don't know for a fact. Joe Biden nominated or picked Kamala Harris because she was a person of color, a woman of color, and that didn't work out well. Another opinion. And that's all Tomi Lahren said. So she wasn't saying anything racist or anything like that, but you see how they're positioning it. Tomi Lahren ridicules the idea of black women filling vacant SCOTUS seats. That's not what she did. She ridiculed the idea of picking someone solely because of their gender and their skin color, those identities. That's what she ridiculed. But let's look at what Biden has done here. When we look at Kamala Harris, Biden has said multiple times that he did not feel pressure to select a black woman as his running mate. Oh, really? He can have his opinion. Nobody knows what's in his head and heart other than him, but it is legit for me to have a different opinion. Do you remember this letter? I've talked about it multiple times. More than 100 black men wrote an open letter, public letter, not private, urging Biden to pick a black woman as vice president. And I'm going to get to why people are trying to have their cake and eat it too. In this letter, signed by all kinds of people like Diddy Combs and Charlemagne the God and 100 prominent black men. In this letter, it said, for too long, black women have been asked to do everything from rally the troops to risk their lives for the Democrat Party, with no acknowledgement, no respect, no visibility, and certainly not enough support. The letter says the black women who are under consideration to be Biden's running mate have been unfairly criticized and scrutinized, and pointed to California Senator at the time, Kamala Harris, as an example. I quote from the letter, was Joe Biden ever labeled too ambitious because he ran for president 3 times? Should President Obama not have made him the VP because he had to worry about his loyalty when he clearly had ambitions to be president himself? Why does Kamala Harris have to show remorse for questioning Biden's previous stance on integrated busing during the Democrat primary debate? Does that sound like heat to you? Sounds like heat to me. So Biden can say all he wants. He didn't feel pressure. I am entitled, and anyone else is entitled to their opinion. I don't buy it. That wasn't the only letter that was written. More than 200 in April of 2020, more than 200 black women urged Biden to pick black woman as running mate. So clearly there was pressure here. More than 200 women on Friday signed an open letter, public letter, to presumptive Democratic presidential nominee. Remember, Joe Biden struggled in the primaries, was saved by black churches in the South. They said they said the letter signed by black women working in the public and private sector said, we urge you to seize this historic opportunity to choose a black woman running mate who will fight for the issues that matter the most to the American people and help deliver a decisive victory and successful Biden presidency. So here's my takeaway. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. You cannot be okay with people writing open letters telling the president to pick someone who is this identity, in this case, black and a woman, and people argue whether she's black or not, whatever, person of color and a woman, and at the same time, go after Tomi Lahren for saying you're wrong for putting identity before qualifications. You can't have it both ways. So the position that would make sense, even if you're an identitarian, and this is the position that we used to see in the 90s in the past, is President Biden, I want you to pick the best person for the job. But here are some people of color. This is not my viewpoint, but this is a more respectful way to say, here's some people of color that we think are the best people for the job. Joe Biden, interview everybody and anyone, pick the best person. But I just want to make sure you don't overlook these people. That's not their position. The position right now is you pick a person, black woman, person of color. It's not look at the whole field and find the best person. So you can't have it both ways. You can't do identity only first, which is, in my opinion, openly racist. For those who don't understand, and I know it's difficult for some people, and you might see a black person like my skin's black and say, well, why would you call it racist if Joe Biden wants to pick a black woman? Let me help you out. If you substitute white men or any other identity, white woman. So if Joe Biden said, I'm going to pick a white woman, I'm going to make sure I pick a white man for this role. It doesn't pass the test. It doesn't pass the muster. So we're finding out, many people are, that those on the left, they are just as racist as any racist on at the other side of the spectrum ever was. They just want to be the ones to control it. They don't believe in Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream, clearly. This is not content of character. This is literally color of skin. You don't get to go after her like that. That's my 2 cents. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna have to run here, but that is where they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. Let me know what you think. Take care.